This people in Chiku local government, bandits abducted them. I think they wanted ransom, and they've made some people like scapegoats.
Yes, that's their own way of pressuring the people to pay up quickly. These are not human beings that we are dealing with. To imagine that they are human beings
is wrong. Kill human beings,
yes,
just like that, because
they
if you don't pay tomorrow,
they just want the money. They just want the money. That's all they're after.
So spilling that blood is not.
No, I told you before now what one of these bandit leaders said to one of our friends in Kasina, that our friend, that it is the coward who wants to go to heaven.
Cowards?
Yes. Wow. There's only cowards who want to go to heaven. This is the mindset of these animals. That's not. That is why anything short of annihilating them is a waste of time. Anything short.
Not the prison not sentencing them to life in prison.
Never see them as people who have human feelings. They've lost their humanity. Their humanism is gone. So the best thing is to wipe them off. Anything short of that, look, we are just wasting time going around in circles. So I'm not surprised. Look at the case of the Kano businessman who was picked up. They said he rarely traveled by road. He was going to Kogi State. And then he decided at this time, and then they picked him up. The family paid ransom of 6 million. Then they said, go and pick the remains. Go and pick him up somewhere. The guy got there, he didn't see the man. He had to pay hunters. They now began to comb the forest. That's in the Yagba area of Kogi State. Began to comb the forest. Invariably, he found the decomposed remains of his brother. After they took ransom of 6 million. They do that a lot. They do that a lot. Maybe in the course of torture, somebody gives up in their hands. They will still make sure that they collect that ransom. These are animals that we are dealing with. We don't know. We are joking with what we have on our hands. Honestly, when we talk about this issue all the time, looking for a way to solve the problem, pushing our government to do the right thing, to eliminate these undesirable elements. People will call us names. They don't like APC government. Oh, Jide is PDP. Oh, Jide does not. But is it such a bad thing to live in a country where we all feel safe? Is it such a bad thing?
Is it too much to demand?
Is it something that is too much to demand for? I mean, anyone who calls you an enemy of the state because you are drawing attention to bad things that need to be addressed so that we all can live happily, that person is not human. That's the way I see it. Because by the time that problem gets to your door, that is when you will know the extent of it. Somebody on my wall was saying, nobody should be paying ransom to these people. So people went and told him that when your loved one, somebody that you cherish dearly, is picked up, you will pay more than double the ransom that these people are paying now.
Speed.
Because that's the way it is. Who feels it knows it. If you have a child that you love exceedingly, if not because even cloning of people has been banned globally, you think if I have a child who is extremely brilliant and who has life-threatening leukemia, you think I won't clone him? People don't know they don't know what it is until it affects them, or it affects them directly. That's when they will know where the shoe pinches.
Emeka, now it's as if these guys they operate brazenly. They are so reckless right now. They even use our communication system. They use our GSM. They are not afraid to be tracked. They are not afraid to get their ransom from time to time, and they've almost perfected the way they get that ransom. You hardly hear that, before they got the ransom, they were apprehended.
Yeah, you see, it's unfortunate that government doesn't follow up on its successes. If you look back, these people are just engaging in copycat criminality. You know, there was a time in the Southeast, you had things like they will kidnap people, hold them, kill them, collect ransom, until at a time, a very notorious criminal, they called him Osisi Kanku, was killed. And then people in Aba rejoiced. There was rejoicing in the southeast because that guy was a notorious murderer, a notorious kidnapper. And government went after these people, really dealt with them. But what happened? Government slacked again. The thing moved up north. And instead of government to fall back on its strategies, how were you able to comb the forest and smoke these people out, kill their leaders? Government relaxed. And then these people, all they just need is just adopt the playbook of the people who are on ground. Look at what is happening in the southeast. It's about the same thing. You kidnap people and they just disappear. You collect ransoms and all that. You take their cars and you're using their cars. And then so what it shows is that these people just feel that, well, the government can't do anything to them. They move about with motorcycles. Government can't do anything. Government can't stop them. They can bomb trains. They can do anything, move into villages. I think government needs to go beyond just what is going on. Maybe, for instance, in certain states, ban motorcycles. Declare a shoot
Most states now, they've even banned
declare a shoot on site on anybody using a motorcycle. Then, again, government must move on the offensive because it has gone beyond the stage of negotiating. Because after negotiating, at the end of the day, the bandit leaders just become richer, and then their boys are left disenchanted. So what do? They just move in,
fill that gap.
One criminally very desperate one among them will just gather some and they move to one village.
And that's small cell.
So you now have they should be over 100 by now in the Northwest, operating in the Northwest, then aided by Boko Haram. So all you just have is a state of lawlessness. The government must take very drastic measures.
In charge of Nigeria.
Okay, the governors of the Northwest, like Sokoto State Governor, he banned Yasakai, the vigilante group. What did you replace it with? You said they were engaged in excesses and all of that. Okay, what did you replace them with?
Even Zamfara's banned them.
You don't leave a vacuum, because when you leave a vacuum, what you're doing is that you are empowering the criminals. Yes, we know about excesses. The Civilian Joint Task Force in the Northeast was also accused of excesses. But did we throw them away? No. Find a way to blend
I was
with
told
them.
by my producer the story is ready for the two pilots that have died in the trainer aircraft belonging to the Nigeria Air Force.
Kaduna State is under a cloud. Threats of attack and annihilation of communities by ruthless terrorists are ever present. In spite of the looming threats, the Christian faithful still celebrated Easter, hoping things get better. But for members of Angwan Bulu's community in Chikun local government area, it was a dark Easter. 3 teenagers abducted from their community, together with 3 others, were killed by terrorists and dumped in the bush. According to the village head, the terrorists cited failure of their relatives to raise their agreed ransom. Angwan Bulus was invaded 2 days after terrorists killed and kidnapped passengers from a Kaduna-bound train.
We're being called that since we cannot produce that 20 million which the bandits are demanding, that they will kill 3 of our children. Yesterday they called us and said we should go to Expressway in Abuja Way, in Duse after Sabanga, that we will see our dead body, and we will see 6 dead bodies. They say 3 is our own and 3 is from other side.
But more disturbing is the promise made by the terrorists that they will kill 3 more women the next day.
Yes, yesterday they tell us that if we are not able to produce that money the next day, that's in today, by 12 o'clock, they are going to kill another 3 set of people, and it's going to be women.
Bishop of the Kaduna Anglican Diocese on Easter Day appealed to the president to sit up and evolve more strategies towards protection of lives.
When as a leader in civilized climate you cannot deliver, the right and the best thing to do is to bow out. The only thing that gives me concern seriously is, am I sure the president knows that his name is going down in history as a president that is supervising the killing of his people? Citizens of this country are in the hands of terrorists. Mr. President should sit up.
The village head says people are now leaving the community as terrorists have promised to attack again. Family members of kidnapped victims are selling houses and other properties to meet the demand of the bandits. They want the federal government to establish security posts in their communities to prevent further terrorist invasions. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
Well, but actually, I'm so pained about what is happening across the country, especially in the north, and it's not a very, very good time in terms of breakdown of law and order. These bandits, they seem to be having a kind of field day.
Yes, I was discussing with a friend of mine based in Sokoto, and he said that there's a community just 20 kilometers from Sokoto. It's called Durbawa. All the villages around Durbawa, just 20 kilometers from Sokoto town, have been raided day and night since last Thursday. All they are coming to do is steal people's cattle. Steal your livestock. They are not really killing people. Just steal your livestock and move.
Day and night.
Day and night. Two operations.
Security.
2 operations in a day. That's what I mean by day and night. They come in daytime, in the night they are back. So they are raiding. The only person who can escape with his livestock is the one who probably got wind of what was to come and fled with his livestock. But as long as your livestock are still there in those communities, they are going to steal them. And you know what it means for these people? That's their life.
That's it.
A man was said to have lost 30 cattle to them. They said now he has even gone mental. You'll be talking to him, he'll be looking at you. No response again. He's gone mental because that's his life, taken away. And this is the reason some people would turn against the state. Some of these bandits today, some of these bandits were once victims of cattle rustling. And they could not get the state to help them retrieve their cattle. Even on some occasions when they reported to the police did nothing. And in all these areas, in Kware local government, police and soldiers, they are not going to those communities to help people. So people are giving up, just giving up. How can bandits just simply be running rampant in our country as if the country belongs to them?
Emeka, it's so unfortunate that we have to lose 2 pilots and the trainer aircraft
very
again.
Sad, very sad, very sad. I thought we had gone past all of that. Because
Can we go past accidents?
well, yes, accidents can happen, but they should be rare because we had had, episodic recurrence. Because by now, it shouldn't be a recurring thing. The number of aircraft we've lost, to crashes and all of that, I think the Air Force must do something about it. It is not excusable to just say, oh, well, accidents do happen. What are you doing to mitigate them? Should we now just resign to fate? Because now, okay, government has resigned to fate concerning bandits. Should we now resign to fate concerning the crashing of military equipment? God forbid.
They need to just continue to do their best.
They should do their best.
The more sorties you fly, the greater the risk of
crashes. Yes, but at least
if you look at how many aircraft Americans lose in a year, let's not even go there.
Yeah,
because the more sorties you fly, the greater the possibility of an aircraft coming down. Especially you are training people, the trainer aircraft. There could be a mistake somewhere and then.
Young guys.
Yes.
All right. President Muhammadu Buhari is talking tough again regarding state of affairs in the country. The president has vowed that no individual or group will be allowed to destabilize Nigeria. In a statement by presidential spokesman Femi Adesina, the president urged governors, service chiefs, as well as Nigerians to resist agents bent on causing breakdown of law and order in the country. Meanwhile, the bomb explosion, which occurred at Iware town in Ado Kola, local government area of Taraba State, has claimed the lives of more than 7 persons, while many others were injured. Today, the president had, I think, iftar after breakfast with these guys yesterday, service chiefs, and he was talking about some agents that are bent in destabilizing Nigerians, that we should not allow these agents to destabilize the country.
It's a good message to get across to our people, but we need a lot more than these usual sound bites. We need a lot more. Our strategy has to be top notch. We have to show greater commitment. The armed forces have to be more professional, more resolute in defeating these people. I'm happy to say it all the time that in the Northeast we are winning the war. We are winning the war. The signs are there. The Boko Haram's days are numbered. We are winning the war. When was the last time you had the Boko Haram invaded an army base? In those days, they used to have invade army bases now, steal their weapons, and some of us will report it, thereby incurring the hatred of paid agents. But these days, you can't even hear of such things because we have literally reduced them to the point that they can hardly pose any threat to our troops anymore. And that is what we want to see in the Northwest and North Central as well. If you look at the recent survey that we analyzed on Sunday, you see that even the number of kidnap cases from the Northeast have gone down drastically. Southwest is the safest part of our country, with only 36 kidnap cases reported in a quarter, whereas 700 and something was reported in respect of the Northwest. The difference is clear.
36.
Yes, 36 to 700 and something, That's why every time the Americans send out their travel advisory, they always leave out the Southwest. That's the only geopolitical zone in our country that they tell you you can go. Other places, South, Southeast, they want their people because the Southwest have been kept safe largely. What needs to be addressed, especially in Lagos, is this cultism, because these cultists could now graduate to something else. If we are looking at them and the governor and the people don't address it, if they continue to think it's a small problem, the blowback will be, look, even Lekki, Raja, all those areas now. Yes. So we have to address that because they are destabilizing the peace of our people. So the president is saying, look, nobody should match those words with action, the best that he can muster. Because as we said before, this president has done a lot in the area of infrastructure development. But if he does not address this security problem, if manifest changes don't happen before he leaves office, it is by this insecurity that he will be remembered the most. There's no doubt about it. I'm a historian. I know that I've seen regimes that did very well, yet people don't talk about them. They talk about them for the negative things that they refuse to address. So this is the thing. He's got to do much better. He's got to do much better.
Some people will say 7 years after, or 6 years after, 6.5, 7 years after, the president is still saying the same thing, that they've not seen him, coming out decisively and coming out ruthlessly against insecurity.
I just wonder what else needs to be done, because he has changed the service chiefs. How many times? We've heard of all kinds of strategies deployed and all of that. And the problem still persists. Now look at the dimension in Taraba. Bombing. I hope we're not getting into a more dangerous phase of this insecurity. But be that as it may, government must still do its work. It's not just a issue. The president needs to be decisive. Everybody has told him. He's a commander-in-chief. He has to be decisive he has to be very decisive to make sure that these people don't move beyond, in fact, that they are totally routed, that they are totally annihilated, so that we have a safer nation. The president must work harder with his service chiefs. And he's also calling on Nigerians, but Nigerians are traumatized. Nigerians are looking up to him. He is now calling on Nigerians. So it's just like a merry-go-round. Nigerians are saying, Mr. President, secure our nation. And he's now saying that Nigerians should also help to prevent destabilization of the nation. How? Without arms, without means of defense. I think the president needs to really look more closely at the problem. We're in a state of emergency concerning insecurity.
Let's quickly mention that Taraba incident. The bomb explosion is something that is kind of new.
Yes, even at the height of Boko Haram insurgency, they didn't have a foothold in Taraba State. They didn't go there. So I really don't know
what happened.
Maybe in a number of days, in a few days,
we get a clearer
picture. But when these things happen, sometimes a lot of what you read are just conjectures,
speculation,
rumors, speculation, and all that. You need time, to actually get a firm grip on what has happened. Because I can't explain this. There was a time when Boko Haram was bombing viewing centers and all that, but that was in places like Plateau State, in Kaduna, and those. But to go all the way to Taraba, or the farthest point in our country, I mean, it's not something that anyone expected. Yes, bandits are in large numbers in that area, but terrorist action like this one, except if it was targeted at someone, maybe the intention was to kill someone and they just dropped the explosive devices there and left. Because look, these things are not difficult to put together these days. Some reports are saying 7 killed someone. We still don't have the complete story.
Okay, guys, castes and candidates vying for various political offices now know their days of reckoning. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has confirmed the dates for the primary election of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and 7 other political parties for the 2023 general elections. According to the calendar of the party primaries released by INEC, all 9 political parties have fixed their primaries accordingly. Meanwhile, the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the All Progressive Congress has ruled out consensus option for its presidential primary. This is the position canvassed by Babajide Otoju on the program when he said consensus is not the best option if the party must win the 2023 elections. Let's share this with you.
The truth is, the law also permits consensus. Yeah. What some of us do not want to see is a situation in which you force a candidate on the party, a candidate that is not popular, in the name of consensus, you force that candidate on the party, and others now begin to grumble. Some will even shed tears, as we saw. As we saw at the Eagle Square, some burst into tears. We don't want to see that. Let, at the end of the day, the best of the best emerge, because the best of the best that will be able to rally party faithful to support him, and then eventually win the election.
So in that meeting, the neck of the party has officially, in the next 90 days, ceded the powers, all the powers, to the NWC.
All these powers.
Yes. So all the NWC members now will be able, in the next 90 days, will be able to preside over the party and
run the party.
And
that's because they can't hold another NEC until after 3 months. No NEC meeting can happen until after 3 months. So the powers of the NEC have now been yielded to the NWC, so they can take decisions.
Big decisions.
Yes, they can take decisions.
After the primaries, before the primaries.
Because this whole period, everybody is busy. You can't contemplate another NEC meeting
to bring all the
within this
governors,
period,
to bring
within this period.
all these
because
critical
this
stakeholders.
This primaries will be coming in torrents,
Yeah, yeah.
in quick succession.
Yeah.
So that's not the time to have NEC meeting. So the decision has been reached for NEC to yield these powers, to the NWC. So the NWC will take decisions, and one of the decisions that they took was the consensus, decision to let consensus not be used.
The stage is set. Let's I don't know, I don't want to talk about the date and time and everything, but that nomination fee. Well, before this time, 100 million naira nomination fee for the president. I spoke with Senator Adesanya Ogunlewe earlier on phone today, and he told me that, Ayo, this is a serious business. That to run Nigeria is a serious business. It's not for the lily-livered. This is where we separate the boys from the men. So Senator Ogunlewe is of the fact that he was saying that, look, that this is okay. But some Nigerians have been commenting and been saying, 100 billion naira.
I disagree with him. Senator Ogunlewe,
Adesanya Ogunlewe.
Yes. I disagree. That there are ways of screening people. Some parties do shadow elections before the real deal. There are ways of screening people. It's not until you say, go and bring 100 million. You see, this is a sad commentary on the nature of our politics. We have turned our politics to something that those who do not have money cannot get involved.
No, you cannot even smell.
See, there was somebody, a governor in the Northeast, a former governor, I won't mention his name. Somebody wanted to contest against him. He now told that person, he said, I spent 3 billion to win this election. You want to contest against me? Now that I'm governor, you think it would take anything from me to spend 8 billion to keep this seat? He told the guy, he said, I advise you, keep your money.
I spent 3 billion
to get here,
to get
outside of government.
Outside of government.
He said, now
that I have access to public money.
Now as governor, you think it will take me anything to spend 8 million?
8 billion.
8 billion.
Times
to
2.
Keep this way. He said, I advise you to just keep your money because you will not win. And that guy did not get close to winning. So this is the thing. To even win election as a senator, you will be spending about 1 billion.
$1 billion as a senator.
Some spend
That's
more than
1/3 of the states.
Some spend more than 1 billion to become senator. Now, governor, they are talking about
the entire
billions to even win election. It should not continue. Senator Ogunlewe and others should not be telling us that this is how to separate the boys from the
the states you are even talking about, those are other states too.
Northeast. Do you know? I don't want to mention the year so that people will not know the person. It's not a recent thing. This thing that I'm talking about is not a recent thing.
About running for Lagos, Ogun State.
No, I'm not talking about something recent. So it's like it's now the culture that if you do not have billions, but Mr. President complained about 27.5 million in 2015.
Yes.
He complained back then that the money was too much. But now, in 2019, it went to 45 million.
Yes.
In 2023, or for 2023, we have now more than doubled it.
The PDP are selling their own for 45 million.
45 million, yes.
So,
even in 2019, PDP sold their own for 12 million. So they are trying to make it look like, the APC is the money of money bags that they are trying to.
But this is not the picture that APC gave us when they were coming to power. That they didn't that.
You should have asked Senator Ogunlewe that Senator, at the time when this, he was in the private, he would have said no, that he was not part. If you had asked him that time, was it, but I was not there.
Yes.
So, but I don't think that we should continue in this manner.
Yes.
If we want this thing, if we want to bring out the best does not necessarily mean the money bag. The best does not necessarily mean the one who has a cycle of very rich friends. There are people who have potential, who can run this country, who can make change happen, who do not necessarily have a deep pocket. So politics, our politics should not be for only the deep pocket. That's my own view.
Somebody analyzed earlier, okay, if this is just to obtain your form, 100 million naira, on election day, you have party agents across over 120,000 polling units. Now it should be going to 150 or 170,000 polling units in the country, and you have to keep your agents there. How much will you give each agent? How much are you going to use for your TV, radio advert, and all of that? It's mind-boggling.
It's unfortunate that we have allowed our politics to go this way, and it's not a good sign for democracy, because what it means is that the man or woman, let's stretch it a bit, with the deepest pocket will get there. Will most likely get there. And how do you now encourage a contest? Because it has become an all-comers affair. All kinds of people have been declaring. So you now wonder what is really going on. Is there something that we are not being told? Is there a game being played against maybe some candidates, in order to build up a kind of game against certain presidential candidates, aspirants? I think the APC portrayed itself as a party for the people, as a party to change things. Progressives are not known to be driven by extreme pecuniary considerations, but this has broken the bar. 100 million.
This is a radical, before we leave this particular topic, this is a radical departure from what we had in 1999. We had the likes of Babadi Farasi in 1999 that I can tell you that they are not billionaires. We had the likes of Lam Adesina and BC Akondi, and these people are not they were not billionaires before they contested that election. Lam was just a retired teacher, and it was just the party.
Not even millionaires.
He had anything. So
many people that even if at that time they said bring 1 million, they could not bring it. At that time, say bring 1 million, they could not bring it. You see, it's mind-boggling the shape our politics is taking. Because at the end of the day, the APC is a strong platform, and everyone will want to use such a strong platform, but there are ways by which you can eliminate people, and get your best to contest without necessarily seeking to eliminate people by making the nomination form as expensive as it is. I mean, it's not right at all. Expression of interest form, 30 million. Then the nomination form. I mean, it's just governorship. Say 50 million.
Half of that.
House of Assembly 2 million. Reps 10 million. Senate 20 million. For Senate, it's not money to those guys in the National Assembly. This is not money, But we have to. I think the law. I thought it's possible to do something within the ambit of the electoral law.
Yes,
that will take care of this.
I don't forget that INEC even lifted. They increased the money to be spent in the new electoral
election spending. Election
the
spending.
cap. Yes.
Even that one
is not realistic.
Cannot monitor. You can't monitor.
Realistic.
It's wasting our time. Even in the US, it's extremely difficult to
monitor.
Yes. People will spend money on adverts and all that. So what? To make this thing 100 million, it's not right. If we say we want to encourage young people, okay. If someone who is below 40 wants to contest now, they have said that they will be allowed to pay 50% of the fee.
Jide,
How many people?
If I want to contest the president,
where are you going to find 50 million?
50 million.
All the years that you have worked,
No support groups.
and you grew gray beard in the
Or your
process.
friends.
My committee of friends across.
Your
You are going to raise
support
50
groups.
million.
And it's not allowed to get foreign donors as in funding from abroad.
Boys, they are not going to know how you got your money. When you were talking about people that you need to mobilize,
Yes.
that's not where they spend money these days.
I'm telling you.
INEC
Where we spend money these days
collation
is actually the see and buy culture. Is part of the problem with our election culture, that people now put leaves on their heads telling politicians that they are for sale, and on election day they will be telling you the Bofunwako Sebe.
Yes.
That is where they spend the highest
Amount.
the biggest
People will
quantum
have
of
to
their money. It's not on those agents. When you are giving people 10,000 to vote, 10,000 per voter, you are giving them. How much are you going to spend? Someone was telling me that, look, that money, that in fact, that they began in Kwara State, they started going into people's homes as early as 7 p.m. the day before the election, giving them money in advance. So that on election day, they won't be seen to be putting money in people's hands. But a lot of this,
passing through, crossing the Dengon.
yes,
you
jump over the
jump over it,
so that you swear with your life that after collecting that money, you will vote for the
will
party.
kill you if you don't.
You heard of the politician that took his nomination form to a shrine.
Also, the thing is, now if the people will take that money the night before, and on election day, someone else will still offer the same person, maybe from a rival party, and they will take.
Of course,
but
they don't care.
The thing is, these days, when they give you money, with the police watching, thugs will be stretching their necks over that election cubicle. They want to see who you voted for.
No. Another part of it is this APC not going their normal consensus with this, like a radical departure from what we had in that convention. Now it is a game of delegates. Over 7,000 delegates will decide the fate of the presidential candidates who is going to emerge as the candidates.
No delegate would want to be in the hospital or away from the action. That even between now and that day, no delegate. In fact, they will push everything aside because 100 million, these things have multiplier effects. But I think INEC needs to come out and then something is real, because there will also, even though there will be consensus, there will be horse trading. Some things will come up that will be used to.
There's no how you can monitor that.
That will be used to push some candidates out, to muzzle them out somehow. This is Nigeria, where all kinds of things, they will go and look for your grandfather's history, they will go and check all kinds of things and bring them out. And that will be used to muzzle out some candidates.
Jide, quickly, before we go on this segment, let's just talk about this model now. I think indirect primaries.
Yeah. I always think that the direct primary is the best.
The best, yeah.
But in this situation, it could be very difficult to manage. Across the 36 states of the federation, it could be very difficult to manage. And I think now that the APC took the right decision, because some governors are interested parties in this whole matter. If you said they should use direct, what will happen in their states? So now everybody could be inside that Eagle Square.
And you determine the fate. We might spend 48 hours there,
yes,
but somebody will
emerge.
So nobody should be cajoled to say, please, for the interest of the party,
let's use consensus. Consensus is not democracy.
Step down, so that nobody will cry.
But horse trading, consensus out, Horse trading.
Which one is
No,
also?
Australia is
of
behind
course.
now. It's behind the scene. It's behind the scene. That's normal. They must Australia.
If you know you can't win, you can step down.
Two English giants, Liverpool and Manchester United, clashed on Tuesday, and the gulf between the two sides become more glaring. Liverpool outclassed Manchester United for the second time this season. The Reds ran 4-0 winners against United at Anfield, following up on their 5-0 victory at Old Trafford earlier in the season. While Liverpool kept their dreams of a historic quadruple dream alive with the victory, Manchester United will finish the campaign trophyless and most likely outside the top four. This is, look, this is disheartening. Yeah.
Well, you're probably echoing the words, of the interim coach, Raf, after the game, who branded the players as embarrassing. That was some form of humiliation. Whichever word you can use to coin that defeat. When it comes to big games like this, when you are a big club, when you have the big players, it is expected that you showcase, you bring forth what you have. But in front of the fans, when you lose as much as 4-0, they begin to ask yourself, was Liverpool playing Leeds United? If Liverpool is beating Manchester United by 4-0, then what do you expect them to beat teams like Southampton Football Club? But to cut the long story short, the fact from what I saw, Liverpool were everything Manchester United were not. In terms of passion, aggressiveness, the desire to win, get the maximum 3 points, and it's not surprising that they are top of the table, pending when City will play Brighton later tonight. But the biggest story is the fact that for the first time since the Premier League era in 1992, we've seen Manchester United lose to a team 9-0 on aggregate home and away in the Premier League without scoring a goal. And I agree with Ralph Rangnick, the interim manager, that this is an embarrassment to the current Manchester United squad.
Now, talking about the record of Manchester United before now, looking at tradition of excellence, look at the class, look at the name Manchester United. Jide, I'm sure for somebody like me, it's going to be easy for me to renounce that club, to say, look, this is a big embarrassment that not Manchester United will be playing Liverpool with 4-0, 5-0. What kind of...
Well, true fans don't renounce their membership. That's true fans don't do that. You see, even after this match, they were still applauding the players after the match, because this is a club that has given them so much joy over the years. This same Liverpool team, with the same crop of players, apart from maybe Luis, who just joined from Portugal the other day, was eliminated from the FA Cup by Manchester United last season. So what has changed? The players, the zeal to fight is just no longer there. It's no longer there. When you lose the ball, when Liverpool players lose the ball, you see the way they rush to take it back from you. What is called the counter press. The counter press is absent from the Manchester United game. And that had been the problem from the beginning of the season. And then you ask yourself, what should be done? There has to be a clear out. You can't keep a bunch of inept and laughably docile players in this club. This club has a tradition. There was a time that for 5 years, Liverpool could not beat Manchester United even once. And it's not a long time. In the league, this same league, Liverpool could not beat Man U for 5 straight years in the league. I remember. And Manchester United was beating them home and away. But within a short time, and a lot of it is down to poor recruitment. You recruit the kind of players who will not make the difference.
That's it.
Manchester United has spent between 2005 and today 1.4 billion gross spent on players.
1 billion.
And the players have largely refused to deliver. Today, the man who was in charge of scouting
Has left
the club.
2 of them.
So, I'm happy that Ten Hag is the coach that Manchester United eventually got. That was the person that I pushed for in my heart, and I said it on this program. That is the sort of person who can make change happen, but they've got to be patient with him. The owners of the club have not helped matters. When Mourinho needed desperately players to beef up the team, they did not support him with the funds. Look at the way Manchester City has been supported with funds.
Really, I don't know, maybe he's right. He said as long as Sir Alex is still present in that Old Trafford, and I don't know, that maybe his record is quite intimidating and everything, that as long as he's still present, that it won't allow those coaches to concentrate. Do you see that as a valid argument?
I don't think it's a
putting
valid
them
argument.
under pressure.
Let's go realistically with what we've seen under Raf. Yes, Raf is expected to indeed take an advisory position, at the end of the season, and we have a new manager coming on board. But what has his training been like? The interim manager has stayed behind, leaving 2 of the newly recruited staff, to train the players, and the players see it as laughable. If you are the manager, you should take charge. These players have seen it all in world football. These players understand what it means to work with a manager who they feel has seen it all. And when you're not bringing to the table what they expect, everything changes. And that's what we're seeing on the pitch. Part of, the mission given to the manager when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked was take this team into the top 4, progress into a very good stage in the FA Cup and the Champions League, and then probably play attractive football. But that attractive football has not been seen. From what we even saw last night, is a far cry from what we know of the glory days of Manchester United, where the fans would passionately say, glory, 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 Manchester United. The question is, where is the glory today? At some point in time, when City started, their own era, Sir Alex Ferguson, coined the blue half of Manchester, as noisy neighbors. But today, it's a different kettle of fish, because what they are working on the pitch, what other clubs are working hard on the pitch, United probably concentrating on the business side alone, not looking at other important aspects, recruiting the right players. And if you take a look at the results today, they've considered 48 goals, 3 more than Burnley.
So if you leave them out of the first 4 and they're out of Champions League, they're out of all the major cups, do you see them retaining a player like Christopher Ronaldo?
Cristiano
Ronaldo.
No, we signed a 2-year contract, so I think he wants to remain, but we don't know whether the new coach has him in his plans. And there are speculations that the new coach has said that he does not need him. But
really,
for the people who say that Ronaldo is the problem of Man United, they should be ashamed of themselves. He has
scored
21
about 20 goals this season.
He has 21 goals this season.
Despite the poor form
he
of
will
United.
be the player of the season for Man U, except maybe the hair. So it's, if you don't want him, then who do you want?
Wow.
He's always given his best. They say all sorts of rubbish about him, but any time he plays, he's the one who rescues his team. A 37-year-old man.
Against Norwich, if not for Ronaldo.
Rescuing Man U.
Against Norwich with his hat-trick. So, it speaks volumes of what
I think,
Ronaldo
in my view,
is.
They allowed Solskjaer to stay for too long in the club, because Manchester United were not known to be lily-livered on the field. They were fighters. Many times they will play Arsenal, they will play badly, but they will ensure that they win.
It's not a tradition.
They left him for too long and things degenerated. And even his choice of captain, look, can see the man that he made the captain of the team is currently the biggest joke in world football.
In terms of defense.
A pure slab of meat.
One of the worst defenders in the Premier League.
Bought for 80 million. I mean, what?
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure. But I know Arsenal wouldn't mess up like Manchester United.
That is your problem.
No,
my biggest issue is that we are now looking like Arsenal.
Okay.
That has not. The last time Arsenal won the Premier League was around 2003. The same year my firstborn came into this world. Today, that boy is 19 years. Is that the kind of terrible image that they want Man U to inherit? I mean, I shudder to think that my club can suddenly become like Liverpool, like Arsenal.
So, Babaji Kolade, thank you for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and join us on Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.